So this is the P&V life cycle test stand setup. Basically it's a Hillrom stretcher, and what we've done is we have made a rack out of conduit to hang the 11 bladders. We have a dozen blower motors that go across with a dozen power supplies. We will be testing the first 11, which are actually valves, all the way down the line, and then the last section is our flow tests of where we hook a valve up to the top of that elbow and we look at our flow meter. Driving the electrical for the 11 solenoid valves is a pretty heavy duty power supply feeding into a relay so that we could get the black box frequency changes to go to each solenoid valve. The black box is the black box that was supplied by Hillrom, and it has been tested, and the frequencies are available in a report to equal what the test plan will be. So what I'd like to do first is I'd like to take the very first section and I would like to show it with the pressure gauge and how we actually set up the blower and get the systems, each individual system set for 1.1 psi. So the first thing that we're going to do is we need to actually snap in the pressure gauge. This has quick disconnects on it, so basically what's in the system is a check valve so that the system remains tight until we decide to instrument and put the gauge on. The next thing we'll do is, this is set in bar, so go ahead and change that unit to pressure. Very good. I'll hold this for now. Go ahead and hook the coil up, Frank. There we go. So now what he's doing is he's tapping into the 12th power supply. The 12th power supply is actually set for 15 volts. Excellent. And what we'll do now is we'll energize the power supply in the back of this section, which I'll turn the blower on. And what we will do is we will adjust the voltage So we will adjust to maintain a 1.1 psi. It bobbles a little bit each direction, but based on the voltage that we set the power supply up, we should be able to maintain a very close pressure in the system. So now that one is set up, and we will do that to all 12 or all 11 down the line, and in between each setup for frequency changing, we will ensure that the system pressure is maintained that it should be. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and actually cycle this one valve so you can see how it works on the bladder. Frank, hook this up. Okay, now we're going to bring the coil live to the whole board. Next thing we'll do is go ahead and energize the power supply, which is now energizing all 11 valves. It's currently set to 1 hertz. Why don't you go ahead and select through the frequencies just so we can hear. You can pick like a 5. Each valve is now snapping 5 times a second. Go ahead and pick a higher one, like a 15, go 2 over. Each valve is now snapping at the 15, and go ahead and do the final, the 25. So that was actually going at the 25 hertz. So now we're back to the 1 hertz. So what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and we'll energize the first blower and bring it back to life. And what you'll see on the bag what you'll see on the bag is that the bag was actually cycling. Why don't you go ahead and pick like a 15 frequency so we can see it shuttling heavily.
15?
Yep,
hertz.
up to frequency.
There's 15 hertz coming
okay,
up.
Blower's back on. We're good. So that will be our setup and everything that we have, except for the test fixture that we're actually going to go and get the variable data in between the leakage tests, which we're going to do 2 places. We're going to do one here on the flow meter, and then the other one will be on the production test fixture. And that's our test setup. Hope you approve and we can move forward. Thanks.